All right, when drafting, if I asked you to draw the computer screens in front of you, most of you would start drawing something that looks like this. A screen, you could see the screen doesn't go all the way down. There's a plastic piece there. There's some buttons, or some buttons right here. Then there's a little pole here to lift it up and down. Then there's a base. Most of you would draw something like that, right? That's what we call the front view, okay? Front view. There's information missing there. If I asked you to build this, say, out of clay or something, there's information that is missing. Things like how deep it is, right? What's the depth of it? So what you would do, you would want maybe a top view or side view. If you're looking at any 3D object, there are 6 different sides. You have your front view, you have your top view up here, a side view here, side view there, a bottom, and then you can put back either on the other side of the top view or on the other side of the bottom view. Does that make sense? When you're doing this, you don't have to redraw everything. You could steal lines and dimensions from each of your views. For instance, if I was drawing my top view up here, you always want to line everything. The reason for that is you could steal dimensions. So if I was drawing the top view of this, the width of my screen would be from here to here. So I could steal those lines. So I could transfer lines up, and it would probably look something like this, okay? Does that make sense? You'd probably see this little pole here for lifting up and down. Yours is round. It should line up directly with it, okay? Given I'm not using any drafting tools here. And then you have a base, you transfer those lines up. Same on this side. So everything lines up. You can steal lines, right? Same for the side view. The height of the screen from here to here is the exact same on the side view. You'd steal those lines, go across, and then it'd be something like that. Probably a little too thick there. But you get the point. You could steal different dimensions from there. You don't have to redraw everything, but everything needs to line up. With that being said, every 3D object has 3 different measurements: a height, a width, and a depth. Each view has 2 of the 3. If you're looking at the front view, looking at your screen in front of you, you would have a width, right? And a height. If you're looking at your side view, you still have the height, but now you have depth. Your top view, you have depth and width. Each view has 2 of the 3 dimensions. So now we're going to take a look at our assignment of how to transfer lines using your drafting tools. For that, you have 2 different models to draw. On this one, this project's called front view missing, so that initial view of your computer screen. But we have your top view and your side view. This 3D view of your object, we're trying to draw the front view. You can see that it's highlighted in. So this highlighted area here, we are trying to draw that. We're going to transfer lines over and steal dimensions from both and it will draw your view for you. The first thing we're going to do with this is we're going to tape down our project. You're going to take a piece of tape about palm size, rip it into 4 pieces. Now, you're going to look at your longest horizontal line on the paper and tape it up. Remember, if you don't get it taped correctly, every line that you'll draw will be crooked. So every time you tape, verify that it's still parallel to your T-square. Make sure you get all the bubbles out. Now, step 1 in this process, every time you're stealing lines from different views, your first step is to transfer lines. During your draw lines assignment, you were to draw a line as light as possible. The reason for that is those lines are supposed to be your transfer lines that I'm talking about right now. You're going to erase parts of them later, but if you draw them too dark, erase them, you'll still see them. I'm going to draw mine a little darker just so you can kind of see it on the screen, but this part you want to do as light as humanly possible. Now, the transfer lines, what you're looking at is at the top view, any vertical line or point on this top view, we're going to transfer downward, down to here, okay? So here's my vertical line, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to transfer those downward. There's 1, 2, 3. You can see all 3 lines there. Now, with those 3 lines done, I'm going to go to my side view. On the side view, I'm going to transfer any line that's horizontal or any point. So this line, and this line, I'm going to transfer across. Remember, you do this as light as possible. I'm going a little darker just so you can see it. So my end product won't look as nice as yours. Now, I've transferred lines. Now you're going to go to your next step and identify different points. So you're going to look at your 3D view, and we're trying to draw this filled in shape, your front view. I'm going to go around to each point of this shape and just give it a number, okay? It doesn't matter where you put the numbers, but you're going to find those points. So this line and this line come to a point right here. I'm going to label that 1. This line and this line come together. I'll label that 2. I'm just going to go around the shape. Doesn't matter the order. And I'm going to label those 1 through 5. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what you got to understand is what you're looking at. For help with this, I'm going to give a letter to each side here just so you can understand what you're looking at. This top square on the top view, that square there, I'm going to label A. Looking at the top view, that square there is this square. This slant here, I'm going to label B. On the top view, you can't see that it's slanted because you're looking directly down at it. But you have to understand kind of what you're looking at. Now, if I go to my side view, what I'm looking at is I'll label this C. That's if I was a person right here staring that direction. So I would see this as C. This slant right here, this right here is that B. I can't see that slanted because I'm looking directly at it. Okay? You don't have to label this on yours, but it's for you to help identify what you're looking at. Okay? So now, I'm going to try to find 1. Okay? If I was looking on the top view, do you see how it's on the left side of this square A? So left side of A. All right, so it's along this line here. Now, if I'm looking at it from the side view, it's on the top of B. It would kind of be looking this direction. So you go to the top of B and you bring them together. Right there is number 1. Now, if you look at number 2, looking at the top view, it's all the way to the left of A. But now looking from the side view, it's on the bottom of C, if I was looking at it from over here. So I go to the bottom here, bring those lines together. There's number 2. Number 3, looking the same way, looking at top. Oh, it's to the right of A, it's to the right of B, okay? Now I look at the side view. It's on the left side on bottom. So left side, bottom. Bring those together. There's my 3. Now 4, it's on the right side of the top, right side of B, so here. But looking at the side view, right there, it's in between C and B. Bring those together. There's 4. And number 5 right there, it's in between A and B, right here. And then I look at it from the side view, it's on top of B. Bring it together. There's 5. So now that I have all my points, your third step is to darken number to number. Meaning, I'm gonna go around and go from 1 to 2 and darken just those with my T-square. There's 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. All right, skip up to go to 1 to 5 here. Now, you have different triangles that will work here. Sometimes, depending on the angle of the shape, you might have to go in and just go solo with your triangle and connect it. But if it's a 45, 90, or 60-30, make sure you're using your T-square. So now, if you look, you could see this filled in shape there, right? Now the fourth step is to clean up your lines. Meaning, if I look at this shape here, you don't see this line going through the shape, or this line, okay? So we're gonna use our eraser shield to clean up the inside. You should only have lines on the inside that you could actually see on your 3D view. Now, this is our eraser shield. Using this hole here, we're gonna go around our shape and clean up the lines. If I just used an eraser and was erasing like that, more than likely I would smudge my good shape that I just darkened. We don't wanna do that. So what we're gonna do is use this hole. We're gonna find the good parts of our shape. You could see this angle here is a shape that or a line that I wanna keep. So I find it, you can see it in there. I slide, cover it up, then I erase. You go all the way around, finding your good lines, cover them up, and then you erase right next to it. That way, when you go around and erase, you keep your shape looking nice and crisp and dark. And it only takes you a little bit of time. Once you get it separated, then you can use your eraser and erase the inside. And you don't have to worry about smudging your lines. Now, you can maybe still see my lines depending on how good the camera is here. And that's because I drew my lines too dark so you guys could see it. Yours should disappear completely. Now, this isn't quite done. If you look, I transfer lines and they're still touching my shape all the way around. We don't want them touching. So using that same opening, we're gonna cover our good lines or part of our shape and cover them and go all the way around our shape, cleaning up lines that are touching our shape. The reason why we don't erase the whole line is at a later point, you'll use those lines for dimensioning. So don't erase your whole line, just cover and separate. See, mine doesn't look all that great. It looks all right on the screen, actually, from what I could tell. But from my point of view, because my lines were too dark, it makes everything look a little worse, okay? This is the process for if you are missing the front view, okay? If you are missing the top view or side view, you'll do the next step.